Have you ever wondered, who is really making your choices? Is it the conscious self you proudly present to the world? Or a hidden part of you, whispering in the dark, shaping your life from behind the curtain? We like to believe we are in control. We plan, we decide, we act. But deep inside, there is another force, silent, repressed, invisible. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the collection of everything we deny, hide, or push away. And here's the paradox. What you refuse to see in yourself doesn't disappear. It rules you. Think of the moments when anger bursts out of nowhere, when jealousy poisons a relationship, when procrastination steals your dreams. You think, why did I do that? That's not me. But maybe it is. Maybe it's the part of you you've been avoiding all along. Shadow work is not about fighting darkness. It's about turning toward it. Because the more you repress, the louder it becomes. And the more you ignore it, the more power it has over your destiny. Tonight, I invite you on a journey, a descent into the unseen corners of your psyche. We will uncover the 7 hidden signs that your shadow is running the show. And as each sign is revealed, you'll feel something shift, an opening, a possibility, a sense that what once felt heavy can transform into light. Are you ready to face what you've been running from? Because only by stepping into the dark can you finally reclaim your wholeness. Shadow work. 2 words that sound mysterious, even intimidating. Yet, at the heart of Carl Jung's psychology, they describe one of the most important journeys any human being can take, the journey into the hidden self. Jung observed that each of us carries within a shadow all the traits, impulses, and desires we deny or reject. These may not be bad in themselves. Often they are simply parts of our humanity that didn't fit the image we wanted to present. A child told not to cry may bury their tenderness. A teenager mocked for ambition may hide their drive. An adult shamed for anger may silence their assertiveness. What disappears from the surface does not vanish, it sinks deeper into the unconscious. And here lies the truth that shakes us. What we repress controls us. The shadow doesn't sit quietly. It expresses itself through projection, blaming others for what we can't accept in ourselves. It erupts in compulsions, addictions, conflicts, and self-sabotage. You think you are choosing freely, but behind the scenes, your shadow is pulling strings. Why does this matter now, in the modern world? Because never before have we lived so much in the realm of image. Social media, careers, relationships all demand a polished self, a carefully curated persona. But the brighter the mask we wear, the darker the shadow behind it. And the more energy we spend hiding, the less energy we have for living. Shadow work is the practice of turning inward with honesty and courage. It is not about judging yourself, but about reclaiming what you lost. Every piece of your shadow holds energy, potential, life force. The anger you hide may contain the seed of passion. The fear you bury may conceal wisdom. The envy you deny may point to the path your soul longs to take. By facing the shadow, you stop being a puppet of your unconscious. You integrate, you expand, you become whole. This is why Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. In this video, we will uncover 7 powerful signs that your shadow is secretly in charge. Recognizing them is the first step to breaking free. And as you listen, you may feel uncomfortable at times because the shadow resists being seen. But stay with me. That discomfort is not your enemy. It is the doorway to your liberation. Let's begin this journey together. Long ago, there was a village surrounded by mountains. The people lived peacefully. But every night, they heard strange echoes from a cave at the edge of the valley. The elders warned, "Do not go near that cave. It holds what must remain hidden." So the villagers avoided it. They built their homes farther away. They sang louder songs at night to drown the echoes. They pretended the cave did not exist. Yet, the sounds grew stronger, low growls, whispers, cries. And slowly, the villagers noticed something disturbing. Their tempers grew short. Envy spread like fire. Quarrels broke out over small things. Families turned against one another. It was as if the darkness from the cave had crept into their hearts. One day, a young seeker could no longer bear it. "If we do not face what is inside that cave," he said, "we will remain slaves to its shadow." With only a torch in hand, he entered. At first, the cave seemed empty, only walls of stone and dripping water. But as he walked deeper, he felt eyes upon him. Out of the darkness emerged creatures' monstrous, twisted forms. Yet when he looked closer, he realized each creature carried the face of someone he knew. The angry man from the market, the jealous woman from the square, the child who lied. And then his own face stared back at him, distorted by fear. Terrified, he wanted to run. But then he remembered. This was the very darkness his people had avoided. If he fled, it would rule them forever. So he held up his torch and whispered, "I see you." And something miraculous happened. The monsters did not attack. Instead, their shapes began to shift. The angry man softened into a protector. The jealous woman revealed a longing for love. The child's lies turned into creativity. And his own distorted reflection melted into a fuller, truer self. When he returned to the village, the echoes had ceased. The cave was still there, but now it was a place of quiet strength, not terror. The people realized the truth. The darkness we avoid becomes our master. The darkness we face becomes our teacher. This story is a mirror for all of us. Your cave is the unconscious. The creatures inside are your shadow, your anger, fear, envy, shame. They seem monstrous only because they've been exiled. The moment you dare to look at them, their true form emerges. They carry gifts, energy, and wisdom waiting to be reclaimed. So as we explore the 7 signs of the shadow, remember this cave. Each sign is not here to condemn you, but to invite you deeper, to show you what you have been running from and how facing it can change your life. Sign 1. You judge others harshly. Have you ever noticed how certain traits in people instantly trigger you? Perhaps someone brags and you feel disgust, or someone is lazy and you feel rage. The intensity of your reaction often reveals more about you than about them. Jung explained this through projection. What you reject in yourself, you cast onto others. If you were raised to believe ambition is selfish, you may resent successful people. If you suppress your own anger, you may despise anyone who shows theirs openly. The shadow whispers, "That is not me." But the very thing you deny becomes a mirror. Harsh judgment is not about truth. It is about disowned parts of your psyche calling for recognition. Reflection prompt. Next time someone irritates you deeply, pause. Ask, what in them reflects something I have hidden in me? This simple question can turn annoyance into awareness. Sign 2. Your emotions explode out of nowhere. You stay calm most of the time, but then suddenly, you snap. A small comment sets off an outburst. Tears flood without warning. Panic rises in situations that don't seem dangerous. This is the shadow breaking through repression. What you bury doesn't disappear. It accumulates like steam in a pressure cooker. Eventually, the lid blows. Have you ever said, "I don't know what came over me"? That was your shadow. Those emotions belong to you, but because you refused them space, they forced their way out. Reflection prompt. When strong emotions erupt, resist shaming yourself. Instead, ask, what part of me needed to be heard? The eruption may contain a truth you've silenced too long. Sign 3. You keep repeating painful patterns. Different partners, same heartbreak. New jobs, same conflicts. Fresh starts, same endings. Life seems to run in circles, dragging you back into the same wounds again and again. This is one of the clearest signs of the shadow's hand. The unconscious seeks expression. If you refuse to face it, it repeats itself in your choices, your relationships, your destiny, until you finally listen. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Every recurring pattern is a message. Look here. Face this. Heal this. The shadow doesn't punish you, it insists on being acknowledged. Reflection prompt. Write down your repeating struggles. What themes appear? What lessons might your shadow be trying to teach? These 3 signs, judgment of others, emotional eruptions, repeating cycles, are the first cracks in the mask of the persona. They are the shadow knocking on the door, asking for your attention. And if you dare to listen, you begin to reclaim your power. Sign 4. You sabotage opportunities you secretly want. Have you ever dreamed of success, love, or freedom only to ruin it the moment it comes close? You prepare for the exam, but don't show up. You meet someone wonderful, but push them away. You're offered a chance at growth, but suddenly, something holds you back. This something is often the shadow. Deep within, you may carry hidden beliefs. I don't deserve this. If I shine, I'll be rejected. If I open up, I'll be hurt. These unconscious fears clash with your conscious desires, creating self-sabotage. The shadow isn't trying to destroy you, it is protecting old wounds. But in doing so, it blocks new possibilities. Reflection prompt. Ask yourself, when I ruin something I longed for, what hidden fear is being protected? Naming the fear can loosen its grip. Sign 5. You live behind a perfect mask. Some people appear endlessly positive, endlessly kind, endlessly together. But beneath the polished surface lies exhaustion, anxiety, or emptiness. The persona the mask you wear for the world is not wrong. We all need it. But when your mask becomes too perfect, it hides a shadow bursting with suppressed feelings. The more you smile, the more your sadness presses behind your eyes. The more you show kindness, the more your resentment simmers beneath. The danger is not the mask itself, but forgetting it is a mask. You start believing the image and lose contact with your authentic self. Reflection prompt. Ask, what feelings do I never allow others to see? Those emotions may be the very keys to your wholeness. Sign 6. You feel drawn to what you deny. Have you noticed how we are strangely fascinated by the very things we claim to reject? The moralist secretly obsessed with forbidden desires. The perfectionist secretly longing for chaos. The fearless leader secretly craving rest. This paradox is the shadow at work. Whatever you repress does not die. It hides, waiting, pulling at you like a magnet. Denial creates attraction. You may feel both repelled and fascinated, both ashamed and curious. This is why facing the shadow is so powerful. It reveals that what you run from is often exactly what you need to grow. Reflection prompt. Ask yourself, what do I criticize or avoid, yet secretly feel drawn toward? That hidden attraction is not random, it is the shadow calling you home. These next 3 signs, self-sabotage, the perfect mask, forbidden attraction, show the shadow's subtler power. It is not always loud and destructive. Sometimes it hides behind your best behavior, your goodness, even your dreams. But whether through resistance, masks, or paradoxical desires, the shadow always seeks one thing: integration. Sign 7. You fear your own power. One of the most overlooked signs of the shadow is not fear of failure, but fear of success. Deep down, you sense your own potential. You know you could be more creative, more passionate, more alive. Yet the thought terrifies you. Why? Because power awakens the shadow. If you step into your voice, people may criticize you. If you live your truth, relationships may change. If you shine too brightly, your hidden wounds may surface. So you shrink, not because you lack strength, but because you fear what strength will reveal. This fear is the shadow's final disguise, convincing you to stay small, safe, invisible. But the truth is, your power is not the enemy. It is the gift buried inside the shadow itself. Reflection prompt. Ask yourself, what am I most afraid would happen if I stepped fully into my power? That answer reveals the doorway to integration. Lesson 1. Integration, not eradication. The shadow is not something to kill, cure, or erase. It is part of you waiting to be brought back home. Integration means giving space to feelings, desires, and traits without letting them dominate. Anger, when integrated, becomes strength. Fear, when integrated, becomes caution and wisdom. Envy, when integrated, becomes a compass pointing toward your own unlived potential. Shadow work is not about becoming perfect, it is about becoming whole. Lesson 2. Light is born from darkness. Jung taught that wholeness comes not by denying darkness, but by embracing it. Just as a tree needs roots in the soil to rise toward the sky, you need connection with your shadow to grow into your fullest self. Avoiding the shadow makes you fragile, easily broken when life gets hard. Integrating the shadow makes you resilient, grounded, unshakable. Reflection prompt. Ask yourself, What gift might be hidden inside the part of me I fear the most? This question can transform darkness into light. These final signs and lessons bring us to the essence of shadow work. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is your ally in disguise. The parts of you that feel most frightening are the very keys to your freedom. By integrating them, you stop running from yourself and begin living as a whole, authentic human being. Carl Jung once wrote, "Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is." This single sentence reveals the essence of shadow work. What you refuse to see in yourself grows heavier, darker, and more controlling. It is not the existence of the shadow that harms us. It is our refusal to face it. Modern life has taught us to run toward light. We chase positivity, happiness, success. But Jung reminds us that light without darkness is incomplete. Imagine the sun without night, a song without silence, joy without sorrow. It is contrast that creates depth. Without the shadow, the self is shallow. Philosophically, the shadow is not evil, it is potential. It is the raw clay of the psyche, unformed, waiting to be shaped. To integrate the shadow is to bring balance, not destroying your dark impulses, but giving them a rightful place within the whole. When you deny anger, you also deny courage. When you reject fear, you also reject caution. When you bury envy, you bury the guidance of your own desires. Every rejected quality takes a gift with it. And every time you reclaim a piece of the shadow, you expand your capacity to live fully. Jung often emphasized that the goal of life is not perfection, but individuation, the process of becoming whole. Individuation requires a descent as much as an ascent. You cannot reach the mountain's peak without walking through its valleys. Likewise, you cannot find enlightenment by escaping your shadow, you find it by embracing it. Think of myths. In every hero's journey, there is a descent into darkness. Orpheus into the underworld, Dante into hell, Luke Skywalker into the cave on Dagobah. The descent is not punishment, it is initiation. To meet the shadow is to meet yourself, stripped of illusions. And here lies the paradox. By entering darkness, you discover light. By admitting your flaws, you uncover strength. By accepting your wounds, you open to healing. Shadow work is not a luxury for mystics. It is a necessity for anyone who wishes to live authentically. Without it, we remain divided, wearing masks, repeating cycles, blaming others. With it, we reclaim the lost fragments of our soul, and we become more human fallible, yes, but also radiant. Perhaps this is why Jung said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." It is terrifying because it requires looking at everything. The shame, the rage, the jealousy, the weakness. But it is also liberating, because once you accept yourself completely, no part of you is an enemy anymore. To live without a shadow is impossible. To live conscious of the shadow, that is freedom. We have walked together through the hidden corridors of the psyche, uncovering the 7 signs that reveal when your shadow is silently in control. We began with harsh judgment, emotional eruptions, and repeating cycles. We saw how self-sabotage, perfect masks, and forbidden attractions weave themselves into daily life. And we ended with the final truth. The shadow is not simply darkness, but the doorway to your power. The journey of shadow work is not about escaping darkness. It is about transforming your relationship with it. Every sign you recognize, every projection you reclaim, every fear you face brings you closer to wholeness. Remember, the shadow is not your enemy. It is the part of you that longs to return home. When you accept it, you stop fighting yourself. You move from fragmentation to unity, from repression to freedom. This is the true path of growth, not the shiny illusion of perfection, but the honest, courageous work of integration. Darkness to awareness, to integration, to wholeness. That is the arc of transformation. So ask yourself now, which of the 7 signs spoke to you most deeply? Where in your life have you seen the shadow running the show? And how might you, starting today, choose to face it instead of fleeing from it? Because every time you step into your shadow, you also step into your light. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to keep walking this path. Share your reflections in the comments. I would love to know which sign revealed something new for you. Subscribe to this channel so we can continue this journey together, learning to transform darkness into wisdom and wounds into strength. Your shadow is calling, The question is, will you answer?